Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. There is a gigantic clash of foundational philosophies going on in America right now, and the one that wins will dictate the course of history as well as the fate of the nation. Everything that is being shoved, and we mean shoved in front of us daily in media and entertainment and sports and commerce, is from the side promoting, ultimately, atheism. What we lovingly term the left or Marxist are really properly termed the demonic. And they do have the microphone right now, no doubt. But there are quiet, but nonetheless equally, if not more determined efforts playing out to battle them in what has turned into really a kind of a last stand in the legal system. Brian Festa is a Catholic attorney who co-founded the organization We the Patriots precisely to battle against the forces of godlessness in the culture.
How can you not think that we're on the verge of a collapse? Okay? Values, Christian values, Judeo-Christian values that I talked about, that this country was built upon, that Western civilization was built upon, have sustained it. Through, yes, many different empires, those things remain constant, okay? Different civilizations, different forms of government, but those things were constant for thousands of years. And now we're going to lose that, and we're going to abandon, when you abandon that completely, when you abandon God so completely, how can you not be on the verge of a collapse?
Yeah. Do you think America's abandoned God?
Yeah, I do. Not all the people. I'm talking about the government.
Sure.
By and large has. They're godless people. I worked in government for 15 years. Okay, I worked in the belly of the beast. You know, I worked back east and in the Northeast, and so you know, that's why it was very refreshing to be able to branch out and build We the Patriots USA alongside Don, and you know, decide that, you know, I am going to dedicate my life to helping people that have been destroyed by institutions like the government, like the pharmaceutical industry and other corporations. That's what I'm going to dedicate my life to, and in the process, giving them some Jesus too.
One victim of the New World Order establishment We the Patriots was able to help, among many, was Teryn Gregson, who was, get this, fired by the PGA as a sports reporter for refusing to go along with the mandates.
I was a sports reporter for more than a decade, and that all came to an end in November 2021 when the PGA Tour fired me over discrimination. They honored my sincerely held belief over the and then went on to put in discriminatory rules against those of us that were on. I applied for a religious exemption from masking and testing. We were in Florida, no mask mandates there. And I dug into scripture and I saw everywhere the Bible talked of someone covering their face. It was out of shame, and I was not ashamed to not be. And I was carrying my unborn child at the time. Now he's a beautiful baby boy. But I stood up for that. They approved medical exemptions for masking and testing, did not approve my religious exemption from that. I also asked to continue working from home like I had been for 19 months. They said no. After they fired me, they allowed my immediate team to continue working from home for a month afterwards. So lots of discrimination happening, and We the Patriots USA came alongside me. We're still going through the process of my civil rights case, and we're going to hopefully seek justice and set precedents in the court that goes just beyond the, but that really protects people from health status discrimination.
You fired a pregnant mom, PGA. Not a good look.
It's not a good look, and I think we have a real shot. The judge was very fair, asking very fair questions on both sides, and stepped in and defended me whenever they were pressuring me about whether or not I had a law license to be able to look at the laws, the civil rights laws. And the judge said, hey, wait a second, she's an American citizen. She has a right to look at that. So he was very fair, and so I'm very interested to see. And he also said that he has other civil rights cases related to the and mandates, so he was very interested in our case, so we'll see what he determines.
Brian encounters examples like this every day. The New World Order steamrolling over everything in its path, from churches and their schools being inspected by the state and ordered, get this, to expel children who don't have their health records up to date, to cases like Teryn's. In another case, a Catholic teacher in a public school in Oakland, California, was ordered to start using a child, one of her students' preferred pronouns, or she'd be canned. She refused and reached out to Brian and We the Patriots, and the school did back down. The courts have become the last refuge, as Church Militant itself is well aware in some of our cases, when basic rights are being trampled by much more powerful forces.
I do worry about, I worry more today, yes, about politics being infused into the judiciary than I once previously did. However, that being said, I still do believe that there are very good judges who are following the Constitution and who are adhering to the rule of law. If I didn't, I always say this, the day that I don't believe that anymore, I'm turning in my law license.
Sure.
Because I won't participate in a system like that. So I do believe that there is still hope. Are there judges that I believe are misinterpreting the law? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Are there judges that I do believe are issuing incorrect legal decisions? Absolutely. And are there personal biases affecting it? Probably. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm not going to name names, but that does happen. Okay, we're all human. We all do have biases. But I have great hope for the law, especially with the Supreme Court. I do think we have a great Supreme Court. We have a majority, I'm going to call it a 5-4 conservative majority, 5-4, even though technically we have 6 Republicans, all right? But you at least do have a majority who will vote for constitutional principles and the fundamental interpretation of the Constitution as the original interpretation, as the founders intended. A textualist interpretation, and you're seeing that. You have great decisions from Justices Thomas and Alito, I just have a lot of hope now, more than I ever have in my lifetime. I think this is the best Supreme Court that we've ever seen.
The feminization of men in the culture, stemming from the sexual revolution and women's lib movement of the 1960s, has created the perfect storm for institutional invasion and collapse, which many on the right increasingly agree is now practically inevitable. It must be fought back against ferociously on all levels in every arena if there is to be any hope of survival, or dare we say it, even some kind of restoration. You'll notice that much of the fight is being led not by men, but by women. Women like Teryn Gregson, who is pointing to men and saying, step up.
God is very much absent from our society and from our country, and that's why we are in the state that we are in. And people need to be stronger in their faith and not so soft in their faith. And I know a lot of it has to do with the fact that they were raised in churches that were soft, with pastors that were soft. And so it is not up to the church. It is up to you individually, you as a parent, you as a person, to toughen up and to take up your cross and to not back down and to not do so out of tolerance, because that is not love. And it is not loving. It's hurting the next generation. It's hurting the person right in front of you. And so I think it is time for Americans to really just toughen up, and I'm searching for a word that isn't inappropriate to say because that's how upset I get about it. If me as a mom I was able to take a stand, where are the men, where are the strong men in these churches, the strong men in these families stepping up? We need more of them. There's many of them in this room, but there needs to be more men. I'm calling you out right now.
Which is a perfect segue into us reminding you that Church Militant Strength and Honor Conference for men, we do it every summer here in Detroit, is this upcoming August 4th through the 6th, Friday through Sunday, and is specifically dedicated to energizing men to get into the fight in the church and the culture. And there's a big overlap there. It's called to arms to shore up and defend what we have left and begin some kind of counteroffensive against the onslaught. So please sign up for that today by just clicking on the provided link. That men even have to be appealed to and, should we say it, challenged by women to fulfill their roles of protector? Well, how low have we descended? Come to Detroit this August, the first weekend, remember, for our annual men's conference, Strength and Honor. It's all collapsing, and it's because men have not done what men need to do. They have surrendered their God-given roles. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.